Welcome to Weddings in the Mountains with Pastor Jody Secor as your host. This is your go-to podcast for all things romantic and enchanting in the Great Smoky Mountains. Whether you're dreaming of a cozy, intimate elopement or a grand, breathtaking ceremony with a mountain view, we are here to guide you through the best venues, vendors, and secrets of wedding planning in East Tennessee. Grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's explore the magic that awaits amidst the misty peaks. Remember, the Great Smoky Mountains are not just a backdrop, they're a part of your love story. Thank you for tuning in to Weddings in the Mountains. We hope you're feeling inspired and excited for your journey to saying I do in the heart of the mountains. Now here is the next exciting episode.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Weddings in the Mountains podcast. I am Pastor Jody. I am known as the mountain preacher in this area, and I am an officiant in this neighborhood. And I am excited because we get to meet yet another person in this area that does some amazing, fantastic work. And the person we're going to be meeting here in just a moment or two is a photographer in the area. And we'll get to her in just a moment, but let me begin by doing a little bit of business here if we can. I do want to let everybody know that this podcast is sponsored by the Smoky Mountain Wedding Directory. You know, if you're dreaming of getting married here in the Smoky Mountains, well, we want to make it easy for you. The Smoky Mountain Wedding Directory. It connects you with trusted local venues, vendors who know how to make mountain weddings simple, beautiful, and stress-free. So start planning the right way at SmokyMountainWeddingDirectory.com. All right, now that we've got that out of the way, I'm sure you're just as excited as I am to connect with the guest that we have with us today. And today we have Heather Landry with us. And Heather is a photographer in this area, like I said. Heather Landry Photography is the name of her company. And she is, like I say, an amazing photographer that I have worked with several times in the past. Hope to work with several times more in the future. It's always a joy to be with Heather. We have some fun times together when we're doing weddings, don't we?
Absolutely.
So, but anyhow, Heather, let's let you meet the folks. Let the folks meet you. And to start off with, let me ask the first question. Heather, how long have you been working in this area? And then what makes this area special to you as a photographer?
So I have been working here. I moved here a while back. I would say about 5 years in the mountains. It's beautiful. It's God's country. I mean, anywhere you
definitely.
Look. Oh, gosh, it is breathtaking. A lot of times I just like to sit out there before or after a session and just look. I mean, you can't beat the views. You can't.
I've always said God spent extra time in this neighborhood when he was creating.
Oh, he did. And he did a great job. It is phenomenal.
All right. So talking about the views and all the different things, like you said, that they are just absolutely beautiful. Coming from, now, where did you come from when you came to this area?
South Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Yeah, we don't have mountains.
You don't, not too many mountains there. Okay.
No, nothing.
Yeah, definitely. It makes, of course, I love Southern Louisiana.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely. New Orleans. My daughter just loves going to New Orleans. Any chance we get, we'll go hang out there a couple of days.
It's amazing.
Oh,
it's a great place to be. Oh gosh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I can handle that food. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, the beauty there is
anyhow,
different.
Yeah. So let's get back to the mountains. So here in the mountains, how does the landscape change the way that you approach a wedding here versus some of the things that you've done in the past in other areas?
Oh gosh, most of the time it's the views. Everybody wants the views, the open space, the essence of nature, and that's what you pretty much utilize in almost every wedding here in the Smokies, and that's what I approach, is like the calmness of the surrounding.
Okay, that's kind of relative to the outdoor locations, like up on the Foothills Parkway, up in the national park, different places. What about cabins, though? Did you ever do much of anything like that in the past?
I do.
Have the cabin weddings changed things at all?
Not really in the way that I approach the weddings. They're in general just mostly like your it's just like any other wedding pretty much. The only thing different is if it's like a cabin, sometimes the inside of the cabins are a little bit more dark than,
Oh
something
yeah.
that's lit up white and stuff like that. But for the most part, no, I feel as if it's almost the same. It's smaller, it's more intimate, and it's pretty. It's I don't know. You just can't come to the mountains without a cabin either. So I still think that utilizes the Smokies and what they stand for there.
Definitely. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. So do you think that the mountain weddings, I mean, does that tend to kind of reflect a different vibe, as far as versus traditional venues or what have you?
I do. I absolutely do. I guess with Smoky Mountain weddings, it's more intimate, unless it's like a bigger venue place. But most of the times, elopements are small. I mean, you know that. Sometimes
Right.
you have just the bride and groom, and sometimes you have a handful of people. I mean, it's never more than 10, 15 people. And so to me, that's more intimate there versus a bigger wedding versus a regular venue.
Yeah, and I think, a lot of times too, when you're outdoors, like up on the foothills or something, or, you're in the cabin, versus a big venue. People seem to be a lot less stressed. They
Oh,
seem to be
gosh.
really a lot more relaxed. It's almost like you really get to meet the real people in those kind of settings.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They definitely a lot less stress. That from the brides, the families, and all that. You have a big wedding. There's chaos going on everywhere. Everybody's pulling you in different directions. With the intimate, small weddings here in the mountains, it's almost as if it's just a normal day. You get ready on your
Yeah.
own time. You relax, and it's just most of the time it's just them two or them two and a couple family members. So it's really, really, really small.
Yeah, I think one of the things I like about the mountains is the pace is a lot slower here.
Yes.
People, well, most people, at least just don't seem to be in that big of a hurry. So I think that, helps the setting and the ambiance and the vibe and everything quite a bit.
Oh yeah, it
And,
slows you. It definitely slows you down.
and I imagine you probably see that in your photos too.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Yeah, definitely. It's
absolutely.
it's amazing how much attitudes can be reflected in photos and stuff. It's just like emotions. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when people are doing a ceremony or what have you, I always tell people because the first thing they tell me is, "Oh, I'm afraid I'm going to cry." And I'm like, "Listen,
Cry.
if you're going to let it go, let it
Yes, do
go.
it.
It does so much for the photos. I mean,
Oh
you're
yeah.
able to see that in the pictures. It's authentic. It's real. It's who you are. Don't try to hide that."
Yep, it's absolutely real. I tell them all the emotion better.
Yeah, yeah. Don't hold back.
Oh yeah.
So you mentioned something a little bit ago talking about the cabin weddings, lighting. Uh, Time of day, is there a better time of day for a wedding, or is just any time of the day good? And I suppose that's
Outdoors.
probably location dependent.
Yeah, it's definitely location dependent. I would say outdoor. Um, Preferably, I am a sunrise sunset. I love the two. I can do anything in between. I always try and steer away from harsh sunlight, so midday, noon type of stuff, but you can get away with it, especially being in the mountains. I mean, sometimes you've got a lot of shade on one side versus the other. It really just all depends. But as far as like in cabin, it doesn't matter. As long as you are proficient with your lighting, you know what you're doing and using off camera lighting in the correct way, you can do a wedding any time of day in a cabin.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And you kind of just presented something there that I don't know that you really presented it or not, but the benefits of dealing with a professional photographer that understands these things.
Oh yeah.
And obviously you do. I can
Oh
tell.
yeah.
It's you're not just one of these kids that ran to Walmart, bought a camera,
No.
and now calling themselves a photographer.
No.
It's obviously your equipment is a lot more beyond that
Oh,
type of equipment,
oh yeah,
and obviously your
absolutely.
knowledge is as well. So that's awesome. That's important too. And
Oh
when people are
yes.
looking for photographers, it's So, I think you're going to get what you pay for. It's one of those things.
Exactly. One of the hardest places to shoot is an actual cabin with darker yellow, orangish walls from like the wood look. That is
Which is a
extremely
traditional
hard.
cabin color.
Yes, correct. Is one of the hardest places to shoot. You have to have the correct lighting or the correct or really good natural lighting in there. And so it tends to be super hard. And if you don't have somebody skilled, it's just gonna not look that great.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you got to know what you're working with. You got to know your tools. It's like any other profession. So let's go back outdoors for a moment. Something that can have some amazing effects in this area. Even though a lot of people perceive it as negative, oftentimes it really isn't, especially in this neighborhood. But talking about weather, a lot of times we can get a rain shower out of the blue, or fog can all of a sudden come rolling in, or what have you. How do you handle that? What kind of advice would you give couples that are nervous about, the fog or the rain, or, those kind of changing conditions?
So first, I would reassure them that, well, first, if I was the bride, I would definitely ask, have you shot in rain, fog, snow, all those things? And if you have, let me see some galleries. And I'm talking full galleries, not just a picture or two, full galleries. Being in the Smokies, a lot of elopements, you can't really reschedule them. You can't reschedule weddings. You just can't. You just have to do what you have to do. For me, I prepare really well. A lot of the times, I don't know if you've seen it, which you probably have, I wear what's called a turtle shell. I look funny. I look ridiculous, but I promise you, it's like a backpack that covers the top of me, that covers my camera and my equipment, and I'm still able to shoot in the rain. I also, if it's not really that heavy, I have a camera umbrella where it sticks to the top of my camera, and it's a little umbrella for it. That's like just small little things. As far as the fog goes, we can't predict that at all. Sometimes the fog will block your view. And absolutely that stinks. But if you wait a few minutes, sometimes it just dissipates.
So that is one thing great about this area. You wait around 10 minutes and it's going to be different in most cases.
Like and it's crazy to say that. There was an elopement that I did. We went to Foothills, and as soon as we got there, it was pouring. We had already did the ceremony elsewhere. We needed pictures of the bride and groom. It was pouring. We were at the brick wall area, and
okay.
It was pouring, and then we got out, and I kid you not, 2 minutes later, it is sun shining. We turn around and look. The fog is so thick, I couldn't see 6 feet in front of me. So we waited for like 3 or 4 minutes, and then the wind started blowing and it started raining again. But those pictures were so beautiful. Now, mind you, the bride did not care to get wet. She did not care. She just wanted the pictures. They were the coolest pictures ever. They turned out amazing, exactly how the day went, which was chaotic and crazy as far as that part, but it showed every single weather mishap that we had that day.
Yeah, I think that's one thing important about having a wedding in the mountains. You've got to have an adventurous spirit to you.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I know some of the most beautiful scenes, I guess, if you can say, right after a rain, in the mountains, the way the fog will come through the valleys and everything. Sometimes that's just some of the prettiest, scenery that you can possibly imagine. And besides that, rain on your wedding day is good luck. So hey, why not? But
I say that all the time. If it rains, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, cool. So when it comes to thinking about some of these things, and one thing you said just a minute ago was, these elopements or weddings or what have you, it's not something that can easily be rescheduled. And especially if you're up like on the Foothills Parkway or someplace inside the national park, because those locations require permits.
Absolutely.
And those permits only give you a time frame to operate in, and that permit expires. So you've got to get it done, within those parameters.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're putting all this together, how are some ways, or what do you think of, or what do you suggest, when helping couples, pick a location for their ceremony? And I know sometimes you don't always get the opportunity to do that, because oftentimes, I know from my experience, is couples will come to me and they've already got the spot picked. And,
Mhm.
now they're just looking for the officiant, or now they're just looking for the photographer, or what have you. But
Absolutely.
but for those that don't have a spot picked, because I do get that too. What kind of advice do you give to help couples get a location for them?
Mostly, I usually do like a questionnaire. Ask them a few questions, and a lot of it, it's more so number one, so I can get to know the couple, because you don't get to meet them most of the time. They're coming in from out of state. You kind of get to know them through this questionnaire, and then on there, it kind of ask like what type of scenery do they love? They love more nature. Do they want like open field? They want mountains in the background. I mean, it kind of gets a feel of that. And then if they say open, we don't care, then I go some more on their love story and how it played out a little bit, and kind of get to know them. Are they more soft and quiet? Do they, love more nature stuff? I mean, if you want to go to Cades Cove, a lot of times you want to see a bear or a deer, and those are more nature inspired animal people. Sorry, more animal people. I forget my computer rings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. More nature inspired animal people, so they'll get more like Cades Cove, those who want like the beautiful scenery like foothills or Greenbrier. Some of them who like water fishing and stuff, you have the Greenbrier Rocky area, and those things right
Yeah,
there. They just all kind of play a role in how they answer that questionnaire for me.
that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. What's something that you think sometimes, or oftentimes, couples might overlook when they're planning a mountain wedding?
Oh gosh, doing their research. Doing their research, hiring vendors who don't know much about the Smokies. Again, hiring photographers who aren't proficient in different weather and lighting scenarios. I think they need to dig more into that right there. Those who know the trails and stuff, if they're going on a little bit more of a journey for their elopement. And then also, I find it so much better whenever I go into an elopement and I know who the officiant is, who the coordinator is, and stuff like that. It almost makes it feel like family.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you kind of brought up, something to consider there too, is the importance of using local people around
Yeah.
here in this area for your weddings. Because, when people, bring their officiants or their photographers from back home, those people don't know this neighborhood.
Right.
Sometimes they probably have never even been here, possibly. And to know the locations, the spots, the, like you said a little bit ago, you don't always take all your pictures in one location.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you've got pictures where the ceremony happens, and then you said something about, yeah, our famous wall that up there
Mm-hmm.
on the Foothills Parkway that
Yeah.
everybody likes to stand on and get their pictures. So you'll do the ceremony here, you'll go down to the wall, get pictures there, and move
Mm-hmm.
around. And dealing, I think, with locals that know where these places are is important.
Absolutely. That definitely plays a vital role in their day. Again, and that's another instance. We had bad weather one time. The wind gets really bad, and we get a bunch of trees that knock over. Um,
Oh, yes.
and there was a tree covering the roadway to get to Foothills. And so, of course, I know where I'm going. I had to detour the couple to follow me. I called them up and was like, hey, turn around, follow me. We got to go around the other way. And so I really do think weather, and I mean, all of it plays just a huge role. And then making sure you have your local people who know, just in case you and I have to put our heads together and like, oh my gosh, we got to find something else. Let's figure this out. Well, we can go here, we can go there, we can do, you know what I'm saying? Like those
Yeah,
things,
yeah. What's
they really
Plan
play a
B?
vital role.
Yeah, yeah. You never know when you're going to have to come up with a Plan B.
Oh yeah.
So of course, we're dealing with couples that are coming from a distance from other locations.
Mhm.
This is what's considered a destination area, and so a lot of people are coming here for. And of course, that plays into that. There's challenges in planning when you're so far away.
Right.
What's some advice that you might give couples that are planning from long distance?
Number one would to be get a local wedding planner. And if they can't afford it, that's okay. You don't always have to have that. But reach out to whoever you have booked for your photographer, maybe your efficient. I always give out recommendations, a vendor list of my most favorite people that I have in the area, which is always local. I think that
I hope
really,
to get
really
on
does.
that list one day.
You are on that list. You've been on that list.
I thought so.
So, yeah.
So, do you see any mistakes that couples often make when they're planning from out of state?
I wouldn't say a mistake. Like you said, them bringing their own photographers, their own videographers, their own efficients and stuff like that. I'm not saying it's a mistake because if you have a friend that can do it and they know how to work a camera, absolutely save some money, but be prepared for the what ifs. And I think they kind of don't understand that part because again, we have crazy weather and it just pops up out of
Yeah.
nowhere. Be prepared. That's pretty much all I can say on that. I don't think anything that they do on their wedding day I would call a mistake. I would just say it's be cautious.
Do a little more research.
Yes,
Know what you're
for
coming
sure.
to. Yeah, that definitely makes
Absolutely.
sense. Yeah. So now we're actually getting into the pictures. We've done the ceremony, and now you're going to start working, with some of the personal things. What do you do to help couples feel more comfortable and natural? I know there are some people that are just totally camera shy, other people that are just naturally photogenic, but then you get those that they're just not real comfortable, and so how do you handle that? What do you do?
So for me, uh, a lot of my people know how I am, especially a lot of my clients. They know I am loud. I'm obnoxiously loud when I'm taking pictures. So authentically, that makes them smile, that makes them laugh, that makes them, I feel like it more so becomes like we're friends. Guys usually are the ones who tense up, who are shy, who are camera shy. They don't like taking pictures. But if you make it a game for them, or like tell them, oh, sniff her ear, or whisper something, cute in their ear, and they start laughing. I don't need them mouth wide open saying something to
Yeah.
someone with their significant other. What I need is the emotion that comes behind it. So them laughing and then playing around. That's what I do. So, number one, become friends with them, laugh with them, joke with them, tell them the corniest things ever, and just roll with it, roll with the day. I think that is truly, truly, truly important. I think it's absolutely awkward if we are not speaking, if we're just walking silently next to each other. So I have a rule. If it's more than 30 seconds of silence, I've not done my job. So I will talk their head off and I will make them talk to me. So we are no longer strangers. We are besties.
Ah, there you go. Yeah, get that relationship built for sure. Talk about the gear just a little bit. We mentioned it a little while ago, like some of these people, they go to Walmart, pick up a camera, and now they think they're a photographer. What's different with the tools you use versus somebody that's in that kind of a mode?
So I am over prepared. And I say that because sometimes I feel like I'm crazy. A lot of photographers, they dual shoot, so two cameras. A lot of professional photographers. If your photographer is coming in with one camera, exile them. Because what happens if that camera malfunctions, if it breaks, if you drop it? I've been in the Smokies at Greenbrier one time and doing pictures and I slipped in the water and I lost one of my cameras. I did
Oh
not.
no.
No, absolutely. I did not freak out or anything. Number one, I have insurance, so it's okay. My cards are not going to disrupt or anything like that. They're not going to corrupt. I've got it. I just asked them for a second. I went to my car. I got my other camera, brought it out with a different lens because the other lens was broken, and I
Of
kept
course.
shooting like nothing ever happened. I keep 3 cameras, sometimes 4 cameras in my bag at all times. Because if I'm dual shooting, I usually have 2 cameras on the side. So if I go in the water, most of the time, both cameras drop out. So I have to go to the car. There was one time, matter of fact, I have a camera right here. You probably can't see it well, but I was shooting. You see that little piece right there?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of
Right
hanging
up in the
down.
corner.
Yep. So I was shooting a senior. It was early in the morning. I'm talking, we did a sunrise session, and in the middle of it, this was December, early December, and
Oh, wow.
my camera, the curtain, the shutter curtain, it broke, and then right in the middle of the session. I didn't freak out, nothing. I said, "Hey, my camera just broke. I'm gonna go grab my other one." So I didn't. I just keep shooting. As far as lighting goes, if we're in a cabin, I've got lighting gear that could probably light up an entire stadium. It's crazy. One time the weather was bad, and it cut off all the electricity at Chateau Sela. And
Oh, no.
I had,
Yeah.
yep, I had equipment in my vehicle to light up the venue. So the bride and groom were able to proceed with their reception, and of course the amazing DJ and the venue itself. The coordinators were phenomenal, and they hooked up their trucks, like turned on their trucks and plugged in DJ equipment in their truck. Well, I don't know how they did it, but it was great.
Kept the party going, though, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely, it was phenomenal. But
Awesome.
those things right there, I'm very, very prepared.
You know, I didn't realize this until, of course, I'm not a photographer, but until recently, I was talking with someone, and that they talked about a lot of cameras, well, at least the professional level cameras, have what's called dual card slots,
Mm-hmm.
to where pictures are being put on 2 cards at the same time.
Absolutely.
Because you can't, you can't recreate those moments. There's just no way
Nope.
to do that. And
Nope.
so if you miss it, it's gone forever. And if a card goes bad on you, it's gone forever.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of came up to be a question that, that's an interesting question, to ask a photographer. Do you use dual card cameras when you're shooting weddings?
Every single one of my cameras are dual slotted. Here's one I just used the other day, which they carry both cards on the side. I
Wow.
believe wholeheartedly that every wedding photographer, some photographers can get away with like the single slot if they're not doing a wedding. But again, like you said, weddings you cannot recreate. You cannot go back and have them do this. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
So
A
dual
senior
slot,
picture you can, but a wedding, I don't think there's any way.
correct. There's absolutely no way. Absolutely no way you can go back and redo a wedding. So if your photographer does not have a dual slot camera, consider other options.
Yeah. Great advice. Great advice. So tell me, what have you ever had this could only happen in the Smokies moment? What's a Smoky Mountain wedding or an event that you'll never forget?
Gosh, my favorite one, and I have a video of it. It's posted on my Instagram somewhere. I was doing an elopement at Ely's Mill, and
Okay.
we went down to do pictures down by the rocks where you walk down the trail and you go on the rocks. So
Down along the river there, yeah.
yeah, along the river. And all of a sudden we hear, because the mom had stayed back, and she's like, "Oh my gosh," or something happened along that line. And we all come walking back under the little gazebo thing where you do the ceremony at. They had their cake there. Well, a bear was on top of the table eating the cake. I died. I took a video of it. I probably did take a picture of it. I'm positive I did. But I died. The bear was eating a cake, their wedding cake. And I want to say the bakery maybe went by the cabin with the couple and brought them another cake. And I want to say
Oh,
that they
how
had
cool.
bear top on it. for the second one. So I want to say that I don't remember. It's been about a year and a half-ish or something like that. But that was my favorite. It only happens in the Smokies moment.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I know. I've had several weddings that, a bear shows up in the middle of the wedding. It can create some interesting settings. That's for sure. Sure. So when it comes to photographers, I know that, there's quite a diversity into, how photographers charge for, different things as far as just photos or videography. Do you do any videography?
We do, actually.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yes, my husband and I are a tag team duo. Mind you, he has a 9-to-5 job, so sometimes he doesn't do the weekday ones with me. I'll usually get an associate for that or something along those lines. But most of the time, him. My son's starting to dabble into it a little bit, so it's just really fun to watch. But maybe
Oh, no
one
doubt.
day,
Yeah. Don't know what his career might end up being. So you do have other people that
Oh,
you
yeah.
can draw on, that if you need second shooters or video people or whatever, then, which I think that's another good question that people really probably ought to think about, asking a photographer is to, what if we decide we want to do video? Can you do that as well, or what have you? And I think, photographers that can handle it all it's just a bonus. It's awesome.
For sure.
So, but anyhow, kind of really getting back to the question that I was heading for on this, budget. There's always a problem in when people are planning weddings, making their choices and everything. When it comes to budget, is photography where you cut your budget at, or are you better off cutting it someplace else?
Cut it somewhere else. I would 100% say cut it somewhere else. You can't take the venue home with you when you're done with your wedding. You can't take the food home with you. You can't take the cake home with you. You can't take your officiant home with you. I mean, there's a lot of things you can't take home with you. Your decor, maybe your flowers you can preserve.
Right.
But your pictures you can. Your pictures are what you're going to have forever.
Makes sense.
And that right there, do not cut, don't. No, and a lot of people ask me, well, Heather, why you don't give discounts? Why? Because number one, my equipment is crazy expensive. The software I use is expensive. The even the website and my monthly fees and my insurance. I mean, we have all those that plays a part in it, and it's not just that. I mean, it's editing and time, and I do a timeline for almost every wedding, and that's a lot of time invested in this. It's not just me going to shoot the wedding. There's a whole lot of other stuff that happens there.
Yeah, for sure.
And so you can cut a lot of things. I think what you need is always a good efficient, a great photographer, and everything else we can wing it. We can go get married by a dumpster with a great efficient and a photographer, and we can get great pictures and a good ceremony. We're good.
There you go. So, thinking about photos, what's a little detail that makes a big difference in a photo?
Emotion. Like you said, if you're gonna cry, do it. Think of as if I'm not there. I want all the emotion from your day. I want those things. That
pretend like nobody's watching, huh?
Yeah, pretend like nobody's watching. I mean, I just love looking back on an album and just from start to finish and how their day went or how their elopement went, and you don't just see it, you feel it.
Yeah. That makes sense. It really is amazing just how you can see, like you said, how the whole day has gone from beginning to end, just through the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're right. The pictures is one thing that you're going to have those forever. Those are going to be the thing that you're going to look back and remember the whole day about. That's going to be the thing that you're going to have when, the grandkids ask you about, well, Grandpa, what in the world, how'd your wedding go? What, and that type of thing. And you're right. You're not going to be able to share the food with them because that's long gone. The venue, those things. It's just you can't take with you. But yeah, photos are going to be the main event that you're going to have. So
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, if you're going to spend money, that's the place to spend it. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it really goes back to, just like you said, people that are really in this professionally, that's going to deliver the quality that people are going to appreciate. That's, yeah, you're going to get what you pay for. I think it's about like anything else. It's
Oh
you're
yeah.
going to get what you pay for. So the quality photographer, that makes a big difference. So uh yeah, so I think that kind of answers the question, what kind of an experience matters most for mountain weddings. It goes beyond just a great portfolio. It
Mm-hmm.
goes into the memories, into the lifetime
Oh yeah.
of where you've been and what you've done and where you're going. So let's see here. Just kind of looking over my list here of questions to see what I've missed or if there's other things that we should be talking about. I think I think we've covered a lot here. What haven't we talked about, Heather? Come as a photographer, what else should we be talking about? Again, I'm not a photographer, so
As a photographer, the only other thing I would give advice on is if you are a bride looking for a photographer, a videographer, those things right there, the number one thing to ask a photographer, videographer, not only what you see on social media. Everybody wants to see social media. That is perfectly fine. But we as photographers post our quote unquote best pictures for social media. What you want to dig deep into is an entire gallery. And I think I've said that before. So I'm going to
yeah,
touch back to where when you're asking for, have you shot in different weather and lighting conditions, send those need to be sent to the couple as far as like different weather, lighting conditions, and a full gallery of, like, let's say a perfect day, that you need to send the entire gallery so they can see it from start to finish, because again, you only post your best on social media. Nobody sees the in
that's
between.
true. Yeah, people are going to cherry pick their pictures and
Oh yeah.
show you that's for sure. And just about like locations and so forth. That's one thing that photography can really fool you as to sometimes you just like a lot of real estate around here. I've always told people, listen, don't buy any property around here until either you've walked it yourself or someone that you really trust has walked the actual property to make sure,
Oh
because
yeah.
photos can be very deceiving.
Oh my goodness, can they ever?
And sometimes the way some of these photographers will take pictures of things, it can look like 5 acres of totally flat property, and then when you get here after you've bought it or whatever, it's 5 acres of straight up mountainside that you're never
Oh
going to
yeah.
be able to build on. And locations, going back to the locations concept, having that photographer that knows the locations, how important that is, that you're going to be able to get some great results of it, because it is what you portray it to be. So there's even truth in photos, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. I say it all the time.
Yeah. Um, of course we have peak seasons around here. A lot of times the fall when the leaves are changing, that's a very photo opportunity. Um,
Gosh.
what do you suggest as far as if somebody wants you to do their weddings? What kind of lead time? How far ahead should they be booking
Oh,
you?
so I say it all the time, book 12 plus months in advance for fall.
Wow.
That is peak time here. And
Yeah.
we also can't tell them, hey, this is when peak time is going to be. We give them a window and we pray
Right.
in that window that they get what they want. Um, but to me, I mean, it's so busy during peak time too. Like during fall, it's super busy here, but it is gorgeous. It's breathtaking. I love it. It's my favorite time of year, hands down. Like, I mean, some photographers I know who are absolutely amazing, they book out 2 years in advance.
Wow.
So, I
So
mean,
the good ones are going to be booked.
Oh yeah, the good ones are going to be booked, and you'd be very,
Yeah.
very lucky to get in with somebody during peak.
At the last minute, for sure. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And, and I'm sure the time of the year does make a difference on that. But yeah, like you said, in the fall with the leaves changing and everything, and that probably is one of the biggest challenges is capturing that window of opportunity to where the leaves actually. I got to tell you, I had a bride one time that I helped, kind of coordinate everything because she started with me and didn't know where to go, but she knew that she wanted, of course, all the fall colors and everything. And I explained to her that, it kind of depends on how our weather's gone throughout the years. Sometimes we get early color, sometimes it's on time, sometimes it's late color. There's no way to guarantee that or anything like that. And wouldn't you know, she was one of them that she ended up picking the wrong time slot. And by the time she got here, of course, most of the leaves were off the trees and laying on the
Yeah.
ground. Oh, did she get mad at me?
Ah,
And in fact, she actually brought up the concept of, is there any way to tape those leaves back on the tree so we can get some pictures? I couldn't believe
wow.
it, the things that people come up with. And I says, ma'am, I said, I hate to tell you this, but I have not found yet on Amazon any kind of tape for leaves.
You
Oh,
know, only if. I wish we could predict it, but that's the beauty in East Tennessee. Is it just
have you
comes
had
when
any kind of crazy requests that just off the wall things or
yeah.
anything that you can think of?
Um, not so much. There was one who they had a mama bear and like two cub bears, baby bears, around, and she wanted a picture like with the bears behind her, but it was like really close. I was like, no. We don't touch the bears. We're like, we're not doing that. So that's like the only kind of crazy request I've had. They're
Okay.
super cute creatures.
Oh, they sure
Obviously,
are.
they look lovable and touch. No, no, just don't do it.
Do not pet the bears.
No.
Definitely, definitely. Well, listen, gosh, we've been at this for a little while. This has been good. You have brought up some great things to think about, some amazing advice to consider when thinking about photography and connecting it with a wedding and the memories, the photos, all those things. Again, let me put back up here how to get a hold of Heather. What we've got, I just put Heather's website up here on the screen. I've also got her phone number there. If you want to call and connect with Heather, if you're looking for a photographer, she is definitely one that I would recommend, hands down. I wouldn't hesitate for a minute. Call her, ask questions. See what kind of a connection you've got. In fact, I haven't found anybody yet that I've connected with you that's been disappointed. I will honestly say everybody has just been ecstatic about the results that you provide. So, gotta appreciate that. But is there anything else here, Heather, at the end of this that you might want to say or share, or let people know that might be important when they're planning their wedding here in the mountains?
Not really. Just come, have fun, enjoy our beauty.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you hit it on the head. Just enjoy the place. That's what it's here for. I
Absolutely.
know I do. Every day waking up, I never get tired of waking up to the scenery here. So,
Oh yeah.
well, all righty then. Well, listen, once again, Heather, I want to thank you for spending some time with me today to hopefully help some folks out when they are planning their weddings. They can take a look at this, get some great advice. Folks, make sure that you do like and subscribe to this channel that you're watching this podcast on, so that when we come back with the next one, that you don't end up missing out. We're going to have all kinds of guests as we go along here. We had a DJ here a couple of weeks ago, and I know I've got a venue that's set up we're going to be interviewing with. So make sure that you do like and subscribe. And outside of that, again, I just want to thank everybody for hanging in there with us. And Heather, again, thank you for the time that you spent with us to help out. I appreciate that.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So I'm going to go ahead and end this right now, folks. And we'll see you again soon. Thank you for joining in on Weddings in the Mountains.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. We'll be back next week with more tips and stories for your perfect mountain wedding, and always with a touch of laughter and love. Until next time, may your hearts be as full as the Smoky Mountain skyline as you prepare your wedding in the mountains.